Blacks don't crack, right? You know, there's a difference between something we need and something we want. Some people believe that dark-skinned people, black people, have some sort of dark-skin privilege, meaning we don't actually need to wear sunscreen because we are protected. But you know, some of you might watch this and say that is a silly claim. But perhaps, what if there's some truth to this? You know, I would want to know if sunscreen is just a marketing ploy or is something that I actually need as a dark-skinned person. And because I kept on seeing comments about Africans not needing sunscreen, I decided to go down a rabbit hole to get more answers. And trust me, I found some very interesting information. And we're going to talk about all of that in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hola. Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're just seeing this hot chocolate for the first time, hey, this is Tinuola, and right here I share valuable content. So if you like the vibe, please consider subscribing down below for more content. So like I said, this video is about exploring our dark skin privilege and if sunscreen is something that we actually need or not. But I want to put out the disclaimer that this video is not a professional advice. You should definitely listen to professionals for advice, and this video is more of random thoughts and some information that I was able to find online. When I was preparing for this video, I found some very interesting things that I didn't really think of in the past, especially as maybe a privilege or a blessing or whatever it is. But we're going to talk all about that right now. So sunscreen is widely known, it's widely used all over the world. Even in remote parts of the world nowadays, people are learning to use sunscreens. Not everywhere, but you know, it's getting more and more popular these days because it has proven over time to be a good source of protection against the sun. Now, the reason why people protect themselves against the sun is because the sun can damage your skin, from burning your skin to causing premature aging, which a lot of women don't want. And of course, free radicals that can lead to skin cancer. And skin cancer is very popular in some parts of the world, especially in places like Australia, here in Canada, even the United States, United Kingdom. Skin cancer is pretty popular, and it does not exclude dark skin people. To first establish things, dark skin people can get skin cancer. However, when it comes to skin cancer, there are different types of skin cancer, right? And this is one of the reasons why we use sunscreen, to protect ourselves from skin cancer. Of course, we also want to protect ourselves from burning in the sun and aging, like I said. But sunscreen is also pretty new. Sunscreen was just invented in like 19th century. Before then, people were using other protective measures to prevent sunburn, to prevent premature aging, to prevent skin cancer or diseases from the sun. And if we look at historical methods that, you know, ancient Egypt, ancient Greek, and in some African cultures, and even in the Philippines, there were different types of pastes and creams that were made to protect from the sun. So the concept of sun protection is not a new concept. It's been on for centuries because people have realized some of these damages, some of the harmful effects of the sun. For example, in ancient Greek, people used olive oil. In Madagascar, they used a paste called basonjani. Now, I'm going to be pronouncing these names incorrectly, and please, you can correct me in the comments, or you know what, I'm just going to put the spelling on the screen to make it easier for everyone. The Namibian people, for example, used a paste called odzize. This is a mix of red ochre and some butter to make this paste that would often look red on them, and it's mostly used by the women for beauty purpose, like anti-aging, moisturizing the skin. Also, it serves as an insect repellent, just very similar to other types of paste and creams that were used by other cultures. Even in the Philippines, they used borax as a paste to also serve as insect repellent and protecting from the sun and for beauty purposes. Malaysia, Thailand also used this paste. Tanaka cream is another sun protecting paste that was used by the Burmese people. So yeah, these are a lot of names that I can't really pronounce, but just to give you the idea, the concept that people have been using creams and mixtures of wood. So sunscreen is not a new concept. And of course, some of these beauty pastes that also serves as insect repellent, as moisturizer, moisturizers, as anti-aging paste, as sun protecting paste. They don't exactly look as aesthetic as the modern world would want them to look. So yes, sunscreen is a reflection of our modern society and just the advent of science and technology in general. SPF was invented in 1977 by an Austrian chemist, and it started off as SPF 2, and obviously things got better over the years. But aside sunscreen, there are other ways in which people over the years, over these centuries, have protected themselves from the sun, including wearing clothes and finding shade that really help. For example, people will stay indoor when it's very hot outside, especially during the peak hours from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. People wear loose clothes, long sleeve clothes, headscarves, hats. All of this really protects our skin from the sun, and people have used this from ages. They still use this now, and all of that serves as a very effective means to protect oneself from the sun. Okay, let's not forget the use of shea butter and coconut oil also, which provides minimal UV protection and moisturizes the skin, therefore reducing sunburn. So sunscreen was developed in the 20th century by Franz Greta after getting sunburned from climbing the mountain. And the whole idea is to have a cream that can prevent sunburn and protect one's skin from skin cancer, especially for lighter skin individuals because they have a lower melanin levels. Now let's talk about melanin, our dark skin privilege. Melanin is in everyone, and it's the pigment, the substance that makes our hair, our skin, our eyes dark. It's what makes it pigmented, and that melanin also has a lot of benefits in terms of protecting us from the harmful effects of the sun. Melanin absorbs our UV rays and it redistributes it. It makes it do what it's supposed to do, and it takes away the free radicals, the toxic harmful radicals that can harm us, that can cause us sickness, that can cause us stress, that can cause us inflammation, affect our immune system. Melanin helps to reduce all these free radicals from really affecting us as individuals. So it's not just giving us pigment, which looks beautiful, but it's also protecting our skin and our entire body from a lot of harmful effects of the sun. So like I said, everyone has melanin, but in dark skin people, we have a higher level of melanin, and the darker you are, the more melanin you have. In fact, melanin is a genetic thing, and when you see people with very dark skin, it's because of their genetics, it's because of their ancestral exposure to the sun. That is why they naturally have a higher level of melanin and a darker pigmented skin. Now, hyperpigmentation is a little bit different. That is an excessive production of melanin in a particular area of the body, which we're not going to go into in today's video because that is a big topic on its own, a hot one, and I've done some videos regarding hyperpigmentation which you guys can check out. So speaking of dark skin privilege, if we have a lot of melanin that is protecting us from the sun, so why do we need sunscreen? Why do we even get marketed to use a higher SPF? SPF of 50. Someone asked this question and I couldn't answer because I've always just gone for SPF 50 because everyone says use SPF 50 if you have a darker skin. But ideally, if you have anything between SPF 30 to 50, you're good. You don't exactly have to shoot for a higher SPF. The reason why people say this, I think, and I'm just thinking out loud here, is because some of the sunscreen actually don't have the amount they claim they do have. So some brands have been found to have a lesser SPF than they claim they have, and a lot of people don't apply enough sunscreen. So people generally want to use a higher SPF. I don't know if there are other reasons as to why we should shoot for SPF 50 as dark skin people. I don't know. Do you know? Let me know. Let us know in the comments. But just because you have an SPF 50 or you use SPF 70 or you use SPF 30 does not mean you shouldn't use enough SPF, because at the end of the day, the number of the SPF, the sun protecting factor, is not going to be very effective if you're not applying enough sunscreen. So it's very important that you're applying enough sunscreen, even if you're just using SPF 15 or SPF 30. But why do we still need to use sunscreen if we already have natural melanin, if we already have natural protection against the sun? That's because our melanin does not give us ultimate protection against the sun. The more exposed you are to the sun, the more you need protection from the sun, which is funny to think about because your melanin is not only protecting you, but it's also beautifying you. And this is where I say your well-being over aesthetic, because bleaching your skin and trying so hard to reduce your melanin production isn't really good for your overall well-being. We've talked about the harmful chemicals that are in these bleaching creams, and if you guys want to check that, if you want to learn more about skin bleaching and how rampant it is amongst dark skin people, you can check out that video. It's a very interesting one. I highly recommend it. So instead of us trying to actively bleach our skin, it's better to embrace this dark skin privilege. I think we have. But the other side of the story is everything in life has its bad sides, right? So melanin, as good as it is, also has some not so desirable effects. So like I said, it protects your skin from the sun. It protects your skin from UVB rays as well. And UVB rays is what burns our skin, right? So it's good that it protects our skin from UVB rays. But the tricky part is that vitamin D needs this sun rays to function, and we know that we need vitamin D. We know that in dark skin people, in black people, we have a higher level of vitamin D deficiency, which is associated with melanin production. Yeah, it's associated with melanin production, and some people believe that using sunscreen can further, worsen that. Some people believe that. It's still an ongoing research, nothing concrete yet. But the basic explanation is when you have melanin and it's protecting you from the sun, that same sun, your skin needs it to produce vitamin D in your body. And if you don't have enough vitamin D, there are health consequences to that. Things like developing cancer, depression, poor bone health, obesity, and so many other health concerns. So vitamin D is essential even in absorbing other minerals in the body like calcium and phosphorus. Now, if we really need vitamin D, and the biggest and best source of vitamin D is the sun, and our melanin is not helping us absorb vitamin D as much as we should be absorbing vitamin D, wearing sunscreen, isn't that going to worsen the case? So the scoop is, yes, melanin does make it more difficult for us to absorb vitamin D, which means we need to also get vitamin D from other sources like our diet, your cod liver, your salmon, tuna, sardines, and from supplements. And if you're watching this and you're dark skinned and you most likely live in North America, you probably have that vitamin D deficiency. I'm not trying to scare you here, but a lot of us do have that. So you might want to check that out. I'm talking out of experience because this is also something that I've not really paid attention to. And if you're trying to stop using sunscreen because you want to be able to absorb more vitamin D, that's not a good decision. That's not a good idea. It's generally not recommended, because the good news is sunscreen does not give us complete protection. Even our melanin does not give us complete protection. So that UVB still penetrates our skin, and that little amount that penetrates our skin is still functional enough to synthesize vitamin D. So we're still getting some level of vitamin D. It's not a sad story. It's not a doom and gloom story here. Okay, there's good news. So definitely wear your sunscreen. This video is not telling you not to wear your sunscreen. You do need your sunscreen. This video, once again, is not a professional advice, and do your research and protect yourself from the sun by using other sun protecting devices or techniques like we said earlier on in this video. Cover yourself up and stay indoor when it's very hot outside. I think that's the basics, because all of this is not just about us trying to look young and stay aesthetic. It's also to protect us from skin cancer. Like I said, the sun can cause skin cancer, and black people or dark skinned people are not exempted. Let's talk about skin cancer. Skin cancer, there are 3 types of skin cancer, and we see a lot of skin cancer cases in lighter skinned people. However, darker skinned people also have these skin cancers. Like I said, there are 3 types of skin cancers. We have the basal cell carcinoma, we have squamous cell carcinoma, and we have melanoma. You see, those 2 first skin cancers that I mentioned are caused by the sun exposure. So protect yourself, because darker skin people also have the possibility of developing the skin cancers. However, it's very low. The most common skin cancer that dark skin people actually develop, the most common one, is the 3rd one, which is melanoma. Acral lentiginous melanoma is actually a very dangerous type of melanoma. And the interesting part of it, the caveat, if to say, is that this type of skin cancer is not directly caused from sun exposure. Okay, yeah, I know what you think, because I'm also thinking the same thing too. But basically, we don't know the cause of melanoma. We don't know the cause of acral lentiginous melanoma, and it's the most common type of melanoma in dark skinned people. This is not caused directly by the sun. It actually occurs in parts of the body that has less sun exposure, like under your feet, on your palms, those parts of the body, under your nails. But it's a very aggressive type of skin cancer, so don't overlook it. This is something that research is still ongoing as to what causes it. Some people have genetic predisposition for this, and yeah, I don't have much information about that, but I just wanted to throw that in the mix and let you guys know. So now that we know that we still need sunscreen as dark skin people despite our dark skin privilege, what should we look for in a sunscreen? Well, the best sunscreen that is good for you, as a recommendation, is a sunscreen that you are going to be able to apply every single day. Because at the end of the day, there are different types of sunscreen out there, and sunscreen is still like that technology that is still being updated over and over again, because there's just so much that still needs to be done in terms of finding the perfect sunscreen for dark skinned people. We've come from the times of white ghosty cast to this time now where we have a lot more better formulation of sunscreens that we can use as dark skinned people, and we really love. I have some of my favorite recommendations, which I can throw a little bit in this video for you, but my skin is different from your skin. So depending on your skin, depending on where you live, depending on what kind of finish you like for your skin, will determine what kind of sunscreen you want to use. Generally, you want to use an SPF between 30 to 50, and it's advisable to use a broad spectrum SPF which has protection against UVA and UVB. UVA is what causes that aging, and UVB is what causes skin burn. Remember, skin burn can cause cancer. UVA protection is for aesthetic, it's for protecting you against premature aging. Just use that to kind of remember these things. But I have a video on sunscreen explaining some of my recommendations and some basics on understanding what sunscreen is. We have different types of sunscreen: chemical, mineral, and hybrid sunscreen, as we've seen these days, and they come in different formulas. Some are powder, some are sprays, lotions, different types. Even these days we have serum sunscreen, which is pretty cool. We also have tinted sunscreen and sunscreens in our makeup. When you use sunscreen in your makeup, you're not getting enough sunscreen, so it's always advisable that you still put on sunscreen aside the one in your makeup. You want to layer these things, and like we've said in this video, using sunscreen is not enough protection. It's always better to layer your protection by wearing covering clothes, by using adequate amounts of sunscreen, staying indoor if possible when it's very hot outside, or using umbrellas. It might take trial and error for you to finally find the sunscreen that works for you the most. And what I generally advise is, if you have stores around you like Sephora or a drugstore that you can walk into and test out some products, do that. Test it out on your skin and see if it works for you before buying it. And if you don't have that, there are plethora of reviews online from dark skin influencers, content creators, people in general that you guys can check out their content. But to make it easy for you, I created an updated sunscreen recommendation list, especially for dark skin people. So if you want that, click the link below in the description box. Off the top of my head, I have some favorite sunscreens that I use. So if you have a dark skin, dry skin like I do, and you like a dewy finish, then you might like some of these sunscreens that I want to quickly mention. One is Naturium Dewy Glow, Chef's Kiss; Madagascar Centella Watery Fit SPF 50, Chef's Kiss; Numbuzin Essence SPF 50, Chef's Kiss; Bior, Chef's Kiss; Beauty of Dressing Sun Serum, Chef's Kiss, and so on and so forth. Like I said, I have an updated recommendation list, which you guys can check out in the link below. And if you guys want more information about sunscreen and some recommendations, I made this video a while back, which you guys can check out, but everything there is still quite relevant. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy or found one or two things interesting or new. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. Don't forget that you have your dark skin privilege and you should be proud of your melanin. Alright guys, please give this video a thumbs up, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next one. In the meantime, keep shining. Bye.